they'll lynch you. But he did, and he laughs at
Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Happy Monday. Oh, let's hope it's a happy week for West Ham this week. We need some bloody signings, don't we? If you're new, Andy, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Thank you very much for joining us. As we always do on the Monday, and usually sometimes like Thursday, Friday, we give a bit of a roundup of the latest news from all the newspapers and ITKs and stuff like that in terms of transfers or lack of. There are. Let's see, we've got to chat quickly. Toby's in the chat. I've always been a half glass full bloke. Same as me. At the moment, my glass is half full of excrement. Even I'm starting. Is that excitement or always excrement? You mean poo? Even I'm starting to get the hump. We're going to be one of a small number of clubs at the start of the new season without no signings. Well, I think we are technically already, because Willian, although he signed for Fulham, but he signed back for Fulham. So he's then a new signing, but he isn't, but he is. So when they actually sign someone new, that's it. Yeah, we will be the only team in the Premier League who hasn't signed anyone. I don't think Palhinha is coming out. No, we'll talk about that in a minute. We just drag our heels and wait so long. It's Dithering Sullivan, Dithering Noise, and new appointment, Tim Steinden, that seem to be finding the reasons not to sign anyone. We need a new manager that will sign people, players. Moyes is destroying everything because he is Moyes. Why would you, why would you purposely destroy it? I don't get it, but anyway, and I understand your thoughts, I appreciate your opinion, but do you think realistically he'd want to destroy it from within? No, that's the thing. I think he thinks he knows best. I think that's the trouble. We always do sign last day and take 3 months to bed them in. Indeed. Afternoon, everybody. Michael, everyone's in the chat. Corky, Russ, hope you're brightening our day with another loud shirt. I've got a black one, but it's a DT38. So there we go. I will be wearing, if you want me to, I'll try and brighten up your day every time I'm doing a live with a newer shirt. One of my flamboyant shirts. Everyone's talking to each other. Irish Tommy's in the chat, and I see it. IT. Any news? We're going to go through that. Any news? There should be a laughing emoji, really. Lawrence in the chat. Good afternoon to you, or good morning to you, Lawrence. Obviously, very early morning over there. No loud shirt, indeed. I'm very well. Hope you are well. Also, if you could share your prayers for Terry's son, Bobby. Terry the baker, we've had him on. Lovely Terry, top man. Obviously, he had a bit of a tragic backstory as well in terms of collapsing at London Stadium before lockdown and stuff. But his son is in hospital at the moment, and as well, he's come out of the sort of I don't know if it's induced coma or whatever, but he came out of it. He's coming to. But his son's not very well, Bobby, as well. So your prayers with him, and also prayers to Shaka as well. Shaka, he's not friend to the channel. Obviously, he passed out live yesterday in the Real Madrid AC Milan game in California. Thankfully, he's okay as well. So not great, is it? It's not great. It's sad as 2 good signings completely early enough would have been enough to keep some level of belief. I totally agree, Adrian. Papa Furf's in the channel. Another team, always this time. Once again, this time next week. Still no signings. This time next week, we millionaires, Pete. We'll have a couple this week. I think we will. We say some positive news this week. It's driving me crazy. Let's be positive. I think we should go for Lavia now. Liverpool pulled out. I think they'll go back in with him now. Absolutely fast. Can you explain what is going on, Russ? Tim comes in with a different philosophy, and yet rumours of Borges signing with a 3-1 vote. Guess who opposes? So is he going to play him? Well, I think if he doesn't play him, then it's going to be Tim's his boss, realistically. So, yeah, we'll see. David, hope you're well. Steve, loads of things here. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Think of Shaq and Terry's son. Hope they both recover soon. Me too. As soon as I heard Tim was coming, I thought Moyes needs to go. He should have gone after the final civil war incoming. Which one will go first? Tim is the future. No time for sentimentality. Well, I think Moyes is on a shorter leash. He's on the shorter leash than Tim, isn't it? Really, in terms of his contracts. Moyes has only got less than a year left. Tim's probably got 4-year contract, something like that. I really hope what is happening is a blessing in disguise. Crosshammers and Moyes has gone after 6 games, hopefully. Right, let's talk about some latest and all that bits and bobs. Let's talk about Oscar. Let's talk about Oscar Borges. Now, we spoke about last week, a £14 million deal was in negotiation with Man City. According to Fabrizio Romano, today he delivered an early morning update on the news for him. And the 19-year-old is obviously, we know about him, made huge waves in the youth level for Man City's 24 goals and 15 assists in all competitions last year. According to Fabrizio Romano, he says that West Ham are working to get the deal done, signed, sealed, and delivered this week for £14 million. So the deal is at the final stages. City would keep buyback clauses into the contract. Now, we know that City's, like, Man City fans are really hot on him and know what a prospect he is. It's also being reclaimed by reports that Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt both tried to put bids in for Carlos Borges, and so so it looks like we've beaten them. Hopefully, kinda. We'll wait and see. Possibly, who knows? In terms of the Rusty Rumour rating, the original Rumour rating, I've given it 9 out of 10. Woohoo! There's your positivity. 9 out of 10 on the old Rusty Rumour rating for Carlos. Gonzo thinks we will need to sack Moyes or back him with no other choices. If West Ham don't sign a player, we'll get cheaper shirts. Another doom and gloom transfer window. We never learn, do we? Like last year, we bought all our players too late as well. We've done the same again. But the sort of blessing in disguise is those players that we bought last year are all okay at the moment, touch wood. So we'll be still going, compared to where we, as I said, look at the starting lineup for the Man City game last year, and then look at the starting lineup we'll have on Bournemouth. Hopefully a lot better, but I know what you mean. Just get him gone. Sullivan, wake up. Spunky money. If you're allowed to sign JWP, Palhinha, or Maguire, well, Palhinha's not going to happen, is it? If we do sign Borges, there wouldn't be a song for him, as no one knows how to pronounce his name, or people keep calling him Carlos, which is his proper name, rather than Oscar, which I keep calling him. Why aren't City going to use him if he's mustard? Not going to get. I mean, they do this proverbially, Matt, don't they? So they do it with Southampton today. I think 2 windows now. They bought in 3 players from Man City. They've just got so many good players. So many good players. So they've got the buyback option. So it is like, I wouldn't say it's a loan deal as such, but it's a 14 minute. We're paying a lower fee than we probably would be paying for him, on the premise that maybe if he does turn out to be really good, the Man City. So in the short term it'll benefit us. In the long term it might not benefit us, maybe, because maybe he turns out really good, and then they buy him back. The trouble is he's got so many people above him. Same as we're going to talk about Taylor in a moment. So many sort of news, in terms of developments. If they can get him out and playing football, then yeah, I think it's good for them. It's Borges. There we go. Surprised you haven't flowers in your hair to make up for flowers on the shirt. Unbelievable, Peter. Believe we're getting some clarity on what's going on from X today. We'll see. X is going on holiday soon, so I don't know what's going on with that. It'd be fun. Heard Sullivan is haggling over Borges signing and offered some fruit flavoured condoms back of Haribo for his signature. Fair enough. He won't get in front of Foden or Grealish. Indeed. Sullivan needs to back Moyes with his signings that will sack him and go with Tim's. Last season's players can be treated as new, as Moyes said they needed time to bed in. Yeah, exactly. City have no chance to get the first team due to all the superstars. Remember, Borges would have to want to go back to City too. Not necessarily Irish, Tommy. Not in the buyback option. If they want to buy him, they go, right, we're going to get him back now. He's really good. And he will. He's a very good player, and he's got pace. And we should be excited for him coming in, because it gives us options. It gives us pace as options, which we haven't had for a long time. As I said, me and Anton did a show on Saturday night, and the trouble is, it's always like for like substitutions. It's on the left hand side. If Benrahma starts and Fornals comes on, if Fornals starts, Benrahma comes on. For me, there's nothing different. He gives us difference. He gives us some pace, gives us some power. Yeah, definitely. I am excited about him coming in. Another player I'm excited about potentially coming in is his Man City counterpart. We spoke about this on on Saturday, according to several sources, including the Italian journalist Alicia Amialo. Taylor Harwood-Bellis is heading towards West Ham in the coming periods. The 21-year-old could join West Ham in a permanent deal and become the second signing to do so in quick succession. Just like buses, we could be expecting two at the same time. What I like about Harwood-Bellis, he's gone under the radar a little bit, and he's silently been gathering this really sort of quite big reputation in the background, really. He had a great season in the Championship with Burnley when he was on loan, and led the under-21s as skipper to European glory in the under-21 championships this summer. He's become a really, really much improved player under Vincent Kompany, and they're looking at signing him as well. Apparently, Man City are open to selling the player. He has 8 appearances for Man City so far. And obviously, he's been out on loan. I think he's been out on loan 3 times. Is it 3 times? I think he's been out on loan 3 times. Or is it Ian Marston? I'm getting confused. Ian Marston's been 3 times, I think. City apparently wanting a fee of around £15 million for him, as per a report in the Evening Standard last week. And West Ham are looking at him. As I said, we already are in discussions with City for Carlos. And, now closing in Harwood-Bellis and taking on a permanent deal. The City will get a good return on the fees, and the Hammers will possibly get in Harwood-Bellis, one of the most promising defensive talents in the country. Many have compared him to when Crystal Palace signed, what's the guy? Mark Goihi, whatever his name is. A number of other clubs are also looking at Harwood-Bellis as well. And I think, again, this could be a fantastic signing for us if it comes in. We've wanted a new defender in the window. I've said we needed a new defender at the window, new centre back, and the arrival of Harwood-Bellis might put a stop to that search. But he can definitely grow and become a solid player at the club in the years to come. And will become, maybe not initially, but we're starting to compete with the senior centre backs this season, I'd say, particularly with the likes of Zuma getting injured. We just know he's going to get injured anyway. The Rusty Rumour rating, the original Rumour rating, 8 out of 10. I'm hot on this double link. Let's see what we got here. Right, what we got here. I always wondered what to see a Rusty 10. I wonder what it's green. Sorry. Borges, Cornet, and Scammy as a front three. That'd be, and Bowen as well. Don't forget as well. What do we think critic makes of this circus regarding? I don't think he takes a lot of interest, to be honest. City have turned down over 30 million offers for McAtee and others for Doyle. City have made over 100 million recently. And what he's doing, Borges, is a Tim boy. He looks the nuts. He does, Henton. Anyone who's been watching the under-18s, I watched quite a bit of under-18s football last year. Borges was a standout. Did you get a good deal on that shirt selling? Oh, very funny. With transfers, I don't know how much about. I tend to adopt a whatever Kent Hammer says approach. Indeed. Luke Legends in the chat. Nice to see Luke. James in the chat as well. Motra 1912. If Borges turns out to be a great sign, it will be rubbish for us depending on the length of time before City. Yeah, I don't know what the time period is, but yeah. Taylor had played a lot of football, short game, can play in 4-3, attacks, great timing. Yeah, he's a good player. That's what I mean, he's good. How many players that? Well, don't worry, Tommy, we'll come to that. Don't worry. I'll wait to the end, sir. We'll buy Borges and loan him out probably. Why are we not going for Onana? Well, I'm not saying we're not going for Onana. We don't know, do we? But he's a player we've been looking at. I think by the sounds of it, Everton are strapped for cash at the moment. And we'll talk about Demarai Gray in a minute. And they are strapped for cash. And I think they are looking to bring in Notto. I think someone like Onana, he's not going to, Dyche don't fancy him. So I could see something happening. Let's talk about Divock Origi. God dear, get your bingo sheets out. We've got some classic transfer rumours happening at the moment. Apparently, West Ham, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, are closing in on the signing of the AC Milan striker Divock Origi. And according to the reports today, page 8, for anyone who's reading the Gazzetta dello Sport, the Belgian striker could make a return to the Premier League. With the Hammers closing in on an £8.6 million transfer. Mercato web journalist Antonio Vitello reported back in May that the Hammers had made inquiries for the 28-year-old, and it seems as if they are getting closer to the transfer. he needs a new lease of life. Let's be honest. He's you know, I mean, to be honest, he's been crap for Milan. Liverpool, he was always the proverbial sub, wasn't he? I mean, 8.6 million. If we go for like 8 million, if it's not to the detriment of losing someone like Skamaka, I would say for 8 million quid, it's a bit of a punt, isn't it? It's punt money. So we know he can, you know, obviously he's played at the highest level in terms of club football, Champions League finals and stuff like that. He can create stuff out of nothing. He's underrated. He has a technical ability there. He does have power. He does have pace, and maybe a change of scenery may help. I mean, for me, I would give it Divock a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 7 really, because I mean it's the price tag more than anything for me. I think when you see it, something if you anything more than say 12 million, I think it'd be a bit of a risk. But for 8 million quid, is it a bad one? Is it a bad one? I don't know. Them two tallied okay, very funny. Here we go, very good, Mikey. Evening, just wish we'd signed someone. So no thanks to Origi. A window of THB, not the pencil. Taylor, Harwood-Bellis, Carlos Borges, Alves, Nana, Zakari, and maybe Souza or Triffitt, and I'm happy. Souza, yeah, born a Souza. We haven't been linked to him yet. Wait, we'll probably will be. But Triffitt, I think I can see more with Triffitt coming in because of the Ren link as well. If Rigi is the answer, what the fuck is the question? Indeed. Sean Phillips just failed his medical at the training ground along with Idaga Johnson and Carlos Backup. Definitely a Moyes obsession. Why can't Moyes slot Fornals in the midfield and get rid of Souček? Not going to happen, Corky, is it? We know it's not. No, give over, average at best. I know what you mean, but I think if it means you can see two ways. You know, for 8 million quid, it's pump money, and he could come good. There's no sell on value really, in all honesty, is there? But him coming in, Premier League experience, knows what the back of the net is, gives you a decent option. But then, to be honest, it might stunt the progress of Mbama, for example. But maybe, you know, he comes in as second, third choice after Scomac. We've still got Antonio, to be honest. I mean, I don't think he's going to go now. Hopefully the Turkish links of Souček are real and we can cash in. Let's wait and see. How old is he? 28. Poor man's Lukaku with a massive hole in it. Yeah, bang average play in a position we've covered. Yeah, fair play. The Italians offer Skamaka a joke, 20 mil. That's not happening, mate. Origi is decent value for money, but not a replacement for Skamaka. I totally agree. We'll be linked with Carvalho. Yeah, we already have been. Beginning of the transfer window, Tommy, we've already done that. You missed that one on your bingo sheet. May as well try for Darren Bent. Rather play Divin. Yeah, I'm gutted. We didn't go for Marcus Thuram. Kameda is available on a free transfer. His move to AC Milan fell through, so we should be all over that. You're totally right. Get Count Car out of retirement. Do you think Wings will be staying, Russ? I think it depends about JWP. I don't think anyone will. I don't think he'll sell him, but I think he's a useful pawn to have for if you're looking at someone like James Ward-Prowse. Right, so we've got Divock. Let's. Who else is on the bait? Is on the bingo sheet? Yusuf En-Nesyri. House. Anyone got a line? Anyone got a line for Yusuf En-Nesyri? So apparently West Ham will return with their efforts to sign Sevilla striker Yusuf En-Nesyri after unsuccessfully trying to sign him for the last 20 transfer windows, according to Estadio Deportivo. The Spanish news outlet reported via its website today that West Ham will try to sign the striker following their recent gain of the sale of he who should not be named for £105 million. It was reported in January by the Daily Mail that West Ham are keen on the striker, with Sevilla setting a price tag of around 35 million, a fee that West Ham were ultimately unwilling to meet. And it was revealed at the weekend that the Moroccan will be available for transfer this season. And it'll be a lot less than £35 million for sure, because Sevilla are looking to recoup some funds, similar to a lot of La Liga sides as well. I mean, you know, we know, particularly in maybe not recent times, but you know, he does know the back of the net. He's good at link up play. He is Moroccan as well, so he's got the what's his face? He's got the older Aged sort of a teammate there. I mean, the goals have dried up for him recently. Let's be honest, and I think he did. I'm trying to think what we did. He did 18. I'm trying to think back in. I think he only got 8 goals last season. Which ain't great, is it, for a striker? But yeah, you do good shows, but cheer up, smile more, my son, and laugh at yourself like Nick does. I always laugh at myself. Oh, Razor, am I joking about? Why do you think on the Saturday? Why do you think I put on that shirt? Why do you think I put on those shirts to get a rise out of you lot? Any more signings will be a year contract, but who's going to sign that? Just seen Shaka. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we mentioned that at the beginning. Definitely Moyes bid. There we go. He's done it. He's not going to bid, but there we go. He's room for him. Not him again. We're becoming the laughing stock. Southampton will not be able to afford Ings. No, it turned us down before. Turned us down several times, I think. To be honest, Matt. To be honest, yeah, we need to get Coletta car, and we've done the line. It's Back to the Future. I've called it. That's what I call transfer rumors, because it's like a compilation of the best hits, isn't it? Bloody hell, not En-Nesyri again. No thanks. The guy turns down twice. Indeed, not impressed with Youssef again. Moyes ball. We need to be looking more long term. Totally agree. What about Lingard? Yeah, we haven't had him yet. Do you think the rice money's inflated our transfer prices? Yes, because I know you got £100 million in the bank. So yes, so it's great for spending 100. I'm going to put 6 out of 10. I'm going to put 6 out of 10 with this because I can see it happening, because it's just Moyes. And it's just Moyes. Right, let's talk about Palhinha. I mean, to be honest, I think Palhinha now it's dead in the water. We apparently had another bid. Was it £50 million on the Saturday? He then got injured last night playing against Brentford in a pre-season in Philadelphia with a shoulder injury. Apparently, according to some reports on Twitter, it could be several months, 2-3 months he could be out for. And despite the fact Fulham valuing it at £60 million, I think the shoulder injury, which could be a shoulder dislocation, which isn't great because we've already got Paqueta whose shoulder pops out. You don't want 2 of them whose shoulder pops out. Means that we move on, which is I really wanted him. I genuinely really wanted him because I just thought, yes, it's important to get youth. It's important to get youngsters in, but it's important to sort out the team now. And I thought he would have just come in and would just do a great job now. But obviously he won't do a great job now because he's only got one arm. So it's a bit frustrating. But we move on. We move on. If we hadn't dividend dallied him, but apparently they wanted 60 million quid for him. And we didn't want to pay that. And I agree with that. But it's a shame because it's just yeah. Anyway. Playing a good player, not worth the wait. No chance now. Indeed. Women's World Cup, Haiti had a team who's Ward-Prowse 26. I believe the majority of the rest, they played very well as well. Played very well. Did he break his arm? I think he dislocated his shoulder, but I think it's a bad one, so they reckon about 2 months out at least. Moyes might need some rehab after Palhinha injury. Indeed, he's linked with Liverpool, so that may be delayed. Or he's only got one arm. He's a blessing. Move on, says Anton. Moyes will soon coach the skill out of him. 259 million. Yeah, exactly. Crazy from Moss's face. I thought we were looking at Calvin Bassey. No, we weren't really looking at him. We looked at him before he went to Ajax, and now he's going to Fulham. We haven't known that we've looked at him, so which is surprising. Same as I totally agree. Salisu as well. I think Salisu is a good player. Said he was glad it wasn't his right arm low. I believe he's just a phantom bid so he can say I tried. No, I don't think. I think he actually generally was. Palhinha was. Generally think he was. And in terms of other midfield, we're going to talk about Gallagher. We'll talk about Alaves probably tonight at Hammer's Headlines because there'll be some more developments by then. I know Anton's put it in the chat. We'll talk about Gallagher in a bit as well. But let's talk about Demarai Gray. So apparently, Everton have set their price tag for the 27-year-old Jamaican international for 10 million quid, according to the Sun. And West Ham have joined Fulham, apparently, in the race to signing with Everton as they're demanding 10 million quid for him. We were linked to him last week. I think I spoke about him. However, it seems now Everton have lowered their asking price. Originally, they were asking 15 million quid. They've dropped to 10 million now. Now, we know obviously We know Carlos Borges is imminent, £14 million. I still think we need some options up front. There's Yusuf and there's En-Nesyri I really don't want, but we need some more pace in the side. And arguably, Demarai Gray brings it. And for 10 million quid, so, for me, that, if you got someone like, and again, this is, to be honest, maybe it's even an area we're not even needing to improve, because I think we've got, on that left-hand side, you'll have Carlos, hopefully. We'll have Benny as well. But I think for 10 million, I think it's a bit of a bargain. I mean, don't forget, he won the Premier League title with Leicester. So, plenty of experience of winning, plenty of experience in the Premier League. He's got blistering pace. He always tears us a new one when he plays us. Incredible skill, he's got a good shot on him. And, he's been playing in the Premier League for the last 10 years, basically. Again, not like a headliner, but I think, again, as an option, if you've got Borges, for example, Borges, and you've got, what's his face? Your Borges in Gray, for example, and Cornet. You've got some real options on the bench then. Maybe. What we got here? Wasn't mentioned. Right age, right profile. I'd like him. I think it's money. I think he'll end up going to Liverpool, I think, to be honest. Left back first, right back, please, 2 years. I think the left back will happen if Cresswell goes. In my eyes, prefer Benny and Cornet. There we go. Antonio going nowhere. Saudis want him on a free, and Saudi won't let him. It's the same thing, Michael. Actually, it's the same negotiation tactics that the Saudi, El Etihad, did with Jordan Henderson. So actually, they originally put a bid in for him, they wanted him. Then they actually said, "Actually, we haven't got no money. We'll still pay you £700,000 a week." And then end up going to probably pay £14 million. So it's a tactic they use. I don't think they'll try it again. I think they want him on a free. Interesting chat that Dan Fandango said on our group chat about, he'd sell him for £1. I think it was Dan that said it. He'd sell him for £1 because of what it means if he's not in the side. If he's not in the side, we have to play a new way of football. So, anyway, second season is always going to tough. I think it's tougher for Fulham and Wolves at the moment. I mean, it looks like Fulham are going to buy Raul Jimenez from Wolves. They're looking at some good players, but it looks like Mitrovic is gone. I mean, he's a huge miss to them. Gray's class can play all front free. Yes, he is. I think 10 million quid. Good sign if it was 2018, but not anymore. Let's sign players who can play well against us. Indeed. Breaking news: West Ham have a new player, Maxwell Sorbet. Pace, yes, but not a player who looks for a pass. But actually, Jake, for me, it's ball over the top, in running onto it. That would do me. Yeah, it would do me. Yes, indeed. We did say that at the beginning. Best wishes to Shaka, friend of the channel, and also obviously to Terry's son Bobby as well, who's at the moment in hospital recovering. He's come out of his, I think he's in induced coma. He's come out of that, but obviously they're keeping an eye on him at the moment. Liverpool won't pay 50 million for Lavella. Demarai Gray 10 million, snatched their hands off. Indeed, it was £1. It was £1. I thought it was right. I'd pay his taxi fare. Russ for Antonio. It's quite expensive to go to Saudi, though. Actually, it's not. It's not as expensive as Dubai. So there we go. It's criminal that we've known Rice's go. Oh, sorry, I said his name. It's criminal that we've known the former captain was leaving for as much as 3 seasons ago. I'd say 18 months, but still, we haven't got. We've still got a list of. You're totally right. We have a list. And the trouble is, we had a list, and then Tim turned up, and he had a list of apparently 20 names on his list. So. And I guarantee you, there's probably the 20 names on his list aren't on Moyes' list, and that's the trouble, I think. Right, let's move on. Like Donkey Kong, who should we talk about now? I'll give him 6 out of 10. Demarai Gray. Next up is James Ward-Prowse. Here we go. Apparently, here we go. West Ham have not been put off by Southampton's valuation rejection of their verbal bid. So apparently West Ham made a verbal bid, whatever the hell that means, for James Ward-Prowse, which was rejected by the club. And apparently are now prepared to make a formal offer for the midfielder, particularly, I think, in the light of the Palhinha injury yesterday. So as I said earlier, the Saints rejected the verbal offer. Again, I don't know what that means, but they're looking for decent money because he's still got a lot left in his current contract at the South Coast. Because they're in sort of a quite strong position, they're able to charge a higher amount for him. And also, they know we've got £100 million in the bank, or we will have £100 million. Can't do the bank. He signed a 5-year deal back in 2021, so he's still got 3 years left in his current deal. They apparently aren't under no pressure to sell him, especially if they sell, say, Lavia and Tino Livramento, for example, both of whom are also worth a high amount. The Daily Mail believes that JWP doesn't have a relegation release clause in his contract, so allowing the Saints to basically charge whatever they want. They've seen the likes of Madison go for 40 million. They've seen the likes of Harvey Barnes go for 40 million quid. I said they're demanding 50 million for Lavia, and so the sale of one of their players for a decent amount would probably say, if they sold Lavia and Livramento, they probably don't need to sell JWP. So it really is up to the player and Russell Martin really to come to an agreement. Apparently he's keen about the move. He wants to have a crack at the Premier League again. Obviously, he wants to have a crack at a new club as well. He's been at Southampton all that time. Don't think he's the answer, so probably the one who comes in. But let's have a look at your comments about JWP. Here we go. Will we sign JWP? Who knows? Russ, what do you think of the kit? Lovely. I love it. Swap. Do you mean Sean Wright Phillips or do you mean James Ward-Prowse? I imagine you mean James Ward-Prowse. For Downs and Ings, do they vote for players like an X Factor? Apparently they do. 3-1. Apparently it's Oscar Borges, and we don't know who the one is who against it. No, JWP will end up like old Liverpool, old Wimbledon, but the gaffer will love it. He certainly will. Can see us paying close to 40 million due to the fact we won't sign anyone. I think that's the trouble. We're getting desperate now. And that's the issue. And by all accounts, Downs doesn't want to go on loan. I think if he goes, it wants to be permanent. And whether West Ham will do that, I don't know. We spoke about Danny Ings potentially as well. No matter who we signed, the team as well, as fans have been dejected by the poor business done. I tell you what, the rest of the Premier League will be smelling blood already. Another, not for me. I stupidly got excited with a new technical director, but it's just the same as always. I think we're going through this transitional period. I'll be honest. There was a thought by someone on one of our comments to say, do you think that Steinden is almost like in the background, just sort of for the next manager? And sort of finding his feet a little bit and just getting a little bit involved at the moment, maybe. But we don't, technically at the moment, if we've got Moisey until the end of the next summer, and then a new manager comes in, possibly. We don't know. JWP is better than Gallagher. Oh no, this JWP just won't go away. We had someone want 40 million quid for man panel. It's so bad it needs to be odd to. That's what Nick said at V's like just now in one of his voicemails. He's like, we've got a 4-man committee, so it's going to be deadlock all the time. You need 3 at least, 3 or 5. Evening down, hope you're well. Stop this madness with Moyes and tell him go or be sacked. 75% of champ. What JWP? Wow. Might get his brother DWP in the bog off. Morning, all rumor has we've just signed Origi. No, we haven't yet. Got it wrong way. 75% don't want him. Back again, interrupted by another thunderstorm. I hope you're well, man. I don't believe that rumor, mates. It was no. Thank you very much. Jesus, one job, and he got it around the wrong fucking way. Tim is a mule feeding new owners to be what is going on. I don't think he is, Michael. I don't think he is. I don't think he's been brought in by new owners at all. He's been employed by Sullivan by what we're led to be believed, according to rumours, apparently by recommendation from Mark Noble. At least then you apologise, Network. Indeed, we are. When we're wrong, we're sorry. But that was my fault. That was Anton's. Any update in 4 nows? No, not at the moment. But I can see that one happening. Steinden's still waiting on the new giant scarf before making any decisions. He needs some new scarves. Actually, it's a good point. We will struggle this season. We can't You can't leave transfer this late. Did it last season, won a trophy. So that's probably his thought process, isn't it? It doesn't matter what money they think we have. We put the value on the player we want, and if it's wretched, they want too much, we move on. I totally agree, and I think that's for me. That's fair enough with what's his face in terms of the Palhinha deal. And now they're fucked. They should have sold us him at 40-50 million. They'd have 40-50 million in the bank now. Now they haven't got their starred CDM probably for about 2 months maybe. Fornals don't go nowhere, says Anton. But we know nothing about that. So I'm going to go with, I can see it's happening more and more because everyone's getting injured or falling out. 7 out of 10 for me. 7 out of 10 for JWP. Let's talk about the Montpellier striker, Eli Wahi. Now, we've been linked with him. He's last season in League I think he got like 19 goals. Young, very fast, very rough around the edges striker. And he is looking to move to the Premier League. There are lots of clubs interested in the young striker signature. Us, Chelsea, Arsenal, but a few are all expressed interest in acquiring his services, and more Premier League clubs are apparently showing interest in him. And so the competition for signing him is intensifying over recent days. The competition, as I said, according to a report from bless me, according to a report from 90 Minutes, we see West Ham see why he has a potential addition that could strengthen the squad, especially if the prospect of Antonio leaving to the Saudi League happens. He's got pace for days, this boy. Nose back of the net, it's 19 goals for the league Montpellier side. Similar to sort of Diallo, really, at Strasbourg, and he scored 21 goals in a side that was sort of safe from relegation relatively towards the end of the season. I think he's got a bit of what's the word? He likes falling out of people. He's got a bit of an attitude with him, so quite like that. It could be quite fun. Right, what we got here? Right. Pino injured. Yep, he got injured yesterday playing against Brentford in Philadelphia. Did he shoulder him? Apparently, it looks like a bad dislocated shoulder. 1 season buying players, 2 without tip stockpile money. Maybe. Not sure we need a striker with Skamaka, Ings, and Barmer, Ings, and Antonio's still there. What a while here, very good. Oh my god, it's going to be a very long season. Why did I put myself? Because of West Ham fans, ladders, and every season, every end of one season, go right. Let's get our business done early. We never do, and so we just get used to it. Let's buy Palhinha in January. Zakara, sorry. Not Zakara. He's Zakara, yeah. Sorry, you spelled it wrong. Fills the gap in on loan. It works out great. If not, get JW at a discount in Jan. Yeah. That's actually quite a sensible idea, John, to be honest. Chelsea went while here, then loaned him out. Yeah, they probably will do. He's trouble with a T. I heard he's a Mbappe on the pitch. Stan Mazaridis off the pitch. Thank you very much. Moyes thinks he's the be all and end all. Chelsea signing away, it would surely open the door to a Borges deal. It could do. Again, they're trying to. The thing is, they're looking at. He's basically. I don't think Chelsea will be selling any of their players just yet. So it includes Ian Martson, includes Connor. We're going to talk about Ambrosia until he gets season through pre-season. So those potential transfers will be right at the end, I think, which is a fair. Which they're entitled to do that. Poch needs to see who he's sides are and who's coming through. The idle striker, Jonathan David. Is it though? The idle striker. I mean, Jonathan David is a fantastic striker, but would he? But in terms of the current way of playing, would he work? I don't know if he would work in the current way of playing. I don't think he's got the physicality that Moyes likes in a player. Who knows, Jonathan? Scott, you know more than me. They're all staying put at the moment. Why are we listening to offers? Well, we're not listening. Well, no player at West Ham is not for sale, which is the right way about it, I think. And so if someone offered us now particularly with the Saudi League, if players have been offered silly money to join, for players, and like 40 million for Jordan Henderson, weren't it, or something like that? We've got Mbappe, 260 million pounds apparently being touted for him. So I think we will look, and then we make a decision based on that. Scamacca's not going, mate. Have you seen Souček got a funny feeling they're pushing to be me too. I think they will. Mine's really young of a Sacco, but quicker. Yeah. What do you think? Yeah, good business. I think we got a lot of them. We've got a good chance of getting them. Why he has a lot of really sketchy criminal allegations around his name. I heard somewhere he's rumored to have beaten his girlfriend. He's a bit strange behaviour in youth changing rooms. Yep, but apparently he's very strange. Was good in his day. It's a shame what happened to him. It was. Good point. Well made, Billy. He's on fire. Same. Small club West Ham, said Dave Coleman. Quite clearly a Spurs fan. He's got a picture of Harry Kane. God, you have to change that soon, won't you, when he's gone? The best striker for West Ham would have been Isaac. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So for me, while he gets a 6 out of 10, because it's sort of like it's one of those players under the radar a little bit who, you imagine this is a Tim signing. It's a Tim rumour if it came through. Let's talk about Conor Gallagher quickly. A fresh report has claimed that Chelsea want 40 million quid for him. According to a report from TMW, Chelsea won't be selling him for anything less than 46 million euros, 40 million quid. We've been heavily linked with a 23-year-old already this summer. And the article claims that the Hammers will have to pay up to £40 million for the England international. That contradicts the report that claimed that Chelsea only want £25 million for him, but so anywhere between 25 and 40 million pounds for Conor Gallagher by the looks of it. Obviously, he's not a Declan Rice replacement. He's more an attacking midfielder, and arguably doesn't have the discipline maybe to sit in front of a back four as defensive midfielder, but then maybe that's the role a Thomas Souček would bring in, or maybe an Edson Alvarez, for example. We'll talk about Hammers headlines tonight, but he's a good, a very competent footballer, great energy in the central midfield, which we need to get things moving. We're quite a static side. I think someone like Conor Gallagher, who's always on the front foot. I think he'll have the energy. Obviously, apparently Tottenham as well are looking at him, and I imagine a number of other clubs, Crystal Palace as well, because look, they're just lost Zaha, and Michael Luisi looks like he might be going to Chelsea, or Man City, so they definitely need some bodies in the side. I don't think Poch will let many of the players go. No, he won't. He won't let him until the end of the transfer, towards after basically when the season starts. He's basically giving a pre-season to everyone and give them a chance to establish themselves, which I think is actually a really good way of doing it. But instead of giving old players like Oggy, they are the ones who should be selling. I agree. But then we could get 5 million quid out of Cresswell by selling him. And Fabianski, still a very good goalkeeper. Oggy, good replacement if we need him for the left side when Aguirre gets injured. It's not so much the fee, it's stupid wages they're on, indeed. Looks classy, like a Newcastle like type player. I'm not a big Conor Gallagher fan, especially at that price. Looks spaced out in that picture. Any signings, Origi connection? We spoke about Origi at the beginning. Tim's go right to the beginning. Apparently, £8.6 million is what what's being touted. Gallagher for 30 million tops. Harry Kane talks like a monk. Editing Harry Kane talks like a monk. Edit box chat. Okay, thank you, Harry. Anyone know why Fabian was on the bench? Is he injured? Wasn't convinced he's not good at pens. He's not good at pens. And he let a really easy goal in. It was basically the guys who are back from international duty plus the kids. So all the others like the Bowens, Scamackers, people like that weren't playing on Saturday. So don't read too much into that. As an engine, but could be erratic, worth a punt. Playing Barmer at right left back as they did with Antonio, hoping the Man City youngsters, but believe Antonio to go, Origi to come in, and JWP 30 million tops. Gallagher has the potential, but not good enough for us right now. Not close to it. I don't. Beggars can't be choosers, Kesey, and I think he could. In a Euro Championship year, I think he would. If he comes, he'd have to hit the ground running because he's got a few months to try and break himself into that squad again and make sure he's playing in England regularly for the Euros. And that's a lot of the European-based players as well. It's the same thing. I'm late to recover Alex Scott. No news on Alex Scott so far. In terms of me, Conor Gallagher, I can see this one happening 6 out of 10, maybe even a 7 out of 10, to be honest. So Tommy asked for it. Tommy asked for it, so I'm going to give it to you. We are at 123 players we have been linked with so far. 123 players, which is some feat. Congratulations, West Ham. Well done. As I said, last year I think we were about 130, so we are well on the way. Well on the way for a record-breaking season in terms of pre-season. Gallagher is good enough. Yes, we discussed that. It's got the dresses, very good. Bless you for being a Buddhist, Russ. Totally. Whatever happens this summer, whoever we bring in bringing next summer off. Yeah, I mean, Pat-Man is. See, I think he's one of those players. I mean, the thing is, he played for Lyon for a few years, and and I think he could. I think he really enjoys West Ham. You can see what he's. He's. I mean, I always look at their Instagram. It's always home, family, friend. So he's quite sort of a homey person. I think West Ham fans are really taken to their hearts. And I think maybe next summer, if he has a really good season. I mean, don't forget we'll have a Pat-Man this season who will have a whole pre-season in front of him or behind him rather. So for me, you're going to see a hell of a better player than we did at the beginning of last season, and so I think we're going to see and I think that's the trouble. Then you get people starting to look at him. That's the trouble is, we want our players to play well, but by playing well, they get in the shop window. And say if a club comes in for £80 million for Paqueta next year or £90 million, we'd probably accept it. That's what basically we've said. When PSG and Newcastle were sniffing around, he's going to cost you £80 million. And see what they say. What about Fofana? We'll talk about that Hammers headlines later on today. Not much of an update, but it'll be. What do you think could be the next under 18 to give minutes to the first team after Mbama? I like Kadir. Freddie Potts is the answer. What's happening with the Carlos deal? Why is it not over yet? Well, we don't know yet, mate. Fabrizio Romano, Harry said today that it's all going to be concluded this week. All being agreed. West Ham are working to get the deal signed and sealed this week for £14 million. That's what we led to really believed. But also, I've done a new thing. I've done the outs. So these are the rumours of players that could be leaving. Not an exhaustive list, but in terms of where we're up to at the moment. Aaron Cresswell. I haven't put the Fornals one in here yet, but Aaron Cresswell. I put sort of the most likely, I think. So £5 million to Wolves, by the sounds of it. Reading an article today, the Lopatelli is looking at bringing him in to work, basically be a mentor for their young left back who needs a bit of what's the word? He needs an arm around him. So apparently that's what they're looking at him for. Mikel Antonio, well, on the table for a free transfer, but we're not going to take a free transfer for him, that's for sure. The Gianluca Scamacca rumours, £30 million. We're looking for 30 to 35 million pounds. Roma, Inter Milan, Juventus, all apparently looking at him, but whether we will only sell for the money, we will not load him out. That's what we've been led to be believed. The Danny Ings could be, has been talk of a part exchange, part X for JWP. Same with Flynn Downs in terms of part exchange for JWP or in terms of a loan deal, but I think that would need to be a permanent deal for Flynn. To be honest, he doesn't want to go out on loan. Nikola Vlasic, Torino still talking about that. £8 million has been touted, £8 to £10 million, with the potential maybe of him being a part exchange for Pierre Scholes, the former Ajax centre back. Obviously, other players who've been linked to leaving are potentially Paulo Fornals to Real Betis with Manuel Pellegrini. Alfonso Areola, potentially with a move to Wolves if their goalkeeper Sarr leaves. And that's about it. And obviously there was the rumours about Paqueta and stuff, but that's all gone a bit by the wayside. So there's a few more comments and then we'll skedaddle for the day. Heard that Carlos has doubts because of Moyes. Don't know. Who thinks he should not be named to a flop at the Gunners? Don't think he'll flop, but we've always seen them having a fight with each other, all the Arsenal fans. So they already sort of, there was one, did you see? It was like literally like they took his game against City, against United, and every pass was like backwards, backwards, backwards. It's like, fuck off. I agree. Russ, we need to build a team around Pac-Man. Totally agree. Felt sorry for Louisa. Scored an own goal and gave her a penalty. We're down in conference. He gets a chance. Me too. Vlasic was a crap transfer. And that's the trouble because of this, slow, that Vlasic deal was literally we had to get someone in, and it's ridiculous. Parsley the Valium, I hate transfer windows. Haven't Wolves just sold a young left back to Luton for Crest money? Yeah, they have, but they've got another one. Who's that? He played last year. He's coming through the pecking order. Where is he? He's a 20-year-old. So he was so apparently, what's his name? His name was Hugo, not Hugo Bueno. Hugo Bueno is in the chocolate. So that's apparently. Babylon saying Origi on his way for £10 million. Well, it's 8.6 we've been quoted, so we'll see what happens. Personally, if I'm looking for sign players for the team, I would sign Ward-Prowse, Zakaria. Look to sign Pickford, in my opinion, as main goalkeeper. For me, isn't first team, and Dodo as right back. Nice ideas. Flynn needs to be given a chance now. Would he though? I don't think so. I think that's a sentimental view for me, to be honest, Michael. I think if he was good enough, and Moyes would pick him. And I don't think and he's played okay when he's been called upon. Wouldn't say he's been like done enough to upset the apple cart in the midfield pecking order. If we don't sign anyone, he will be playing in that midfield, surely. But there we go. How can we let Vlasic go when we paid her 25 million? We didn't actually pay all that money, lads. But yeah, you're right. Hi, JP. What a waste indeed. Origi for bench only. Don't piss around. Just show Moyes the door. Funny how it is Europa goalkeeper of the year twice, but not Premier League level. Scott, did you see the goal he conceded against Dagenham Redbridge? And now that's 12 penalties he's let in. 11 against Blackburn's B team and 1 against Dagenham Redbridge, who are a National League side. That's all I'm saying. Whereas Vlasic should not be having a pre-season. No, so that he wants gone and they want gone of him. Downs, when played, was man of match in every game. Really? He's not good enough for the Premier League. I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good squad player. I don't think he's a good starter. I don't think he'll start, and that's no slight and hit. Well, he's a slight slight on him, but he's been brought in, and I think also he's brought in as a part because he's a West Ham fan as well. Genuinely, because obviously he was going to go Crystal Palace. He would probably have got more game time at Crystal Palace, but there we go. Moyes picking is not about ability. Look at Souček, Russ versus Down. He has his favourites, doesn't he? He has his favourites. And as our Irish Tommy says, he has his favourites. Could possibly have performed worse than Souček last season. Never got a proper chance. I just don't think. I think at 24 now, I think for me, he's one of these guys who's going to come in and do a job. He's not going to be, on the highlights reel. I just don't think he's going to be on this. I don't think he's going to be on the highlights reel. I just think he's a good. I mean, he's a good player and he'll do great and he'll play Europa League games and he'll play the cup games. But I just think that next step, it's the next step, mate. It's the same as a lot of the youth team players. We think I'll give them a chance. If you put some of the youth team players, they're not physically ready for the Premier League yet. So, yeah, he's a ticker. Nothing wrong with that. But don't catch the eye. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Thanks for the support, guys. What for support for what? How many people sold in terms of what, mate? Was that sarcastic? Don't be sarcastic. We're all friends here, my friend. Learn to bypass the noise and see the positions of the team that we need. Left back, I don't think that. I think Andrew, generally, I think left back isn't a priority unless we sell Cresswell. For me, midfield. I think centre backs we're okay. If we get one in, that's okay. For me, it's that midfield needs sorting now. We need sorting as soon as he shouldn't be named left. I think left back. I think Emerson out of all our signings, I think throughout the whole season last year, I think Emerson was the best player. Emerson was our best player consistently. He went straight in the side, bosh, off he went, and did a good job every time he played. And I think the left back is a position we haven't looked at properly for the last 9-10 years since we brought Aaron in. And if he goes, then we need a replacement. But I don't think it's a priority for us this year. That's why, personally, I think that's why we offered him a new contract and Oggy a new contract, and even the goalkeeper as well, because that to me means that's not a priority this year. It's about the midfield. That's why they let Lanzini go, because they could have offered Lanzini a new contract and he would probably signed it, to be honest. But they didn't. They exercised the additional years for Soufal. So I think for me, next year's the defence needs working on. I think now it's the midfield. But there we go. What's going on with Borges? Just waiting. West Ham will be held to ransom. Everyone knows they've got money. Totally agree. Most of the players just do a job. Good point. We have youth players who could do Downs, but cheaper. Totally agree. 50 pence. And if we can, and so someone like Downs goes, Freddie Potts comes in, and everyone's been raving about Freddie, and I've been raving about Freddie. He's come in and he looks, he just looks like he's going to be the next one off the production line. So by letting him go, or by letting Fornals go, someone like Freddie Potts comes in, he's up one spot. And so, people say we want youth to break into the first team. The trouble is there's lots of players who just do a job who are stopping that progress. We know the manager, as well, likes to stay with experienced players and stuff like that. But obviously, the less experienced players there are, the more opportunities there is with someone like Freddie getting a lot more game time next season. We see like Van Barmer now. Now he's getting more game time. You're seeing what you're getting. It's almost it's harder for him not to be picked than it is for him to be picked. Can you explain why some of the fans? Because apparently someone kicked off. It's basically a ticker. I totally agree. Do we still owe any money? Probably. Props. Do we possibly bring in too many players last summer? Is it impacting spending now? Possibly. I think some of them I think someone like Tilo Kehrer probably came in because of Agard being injured. And I think maybe there was a general feeling that Flynn would come in as Declan, as he should not be named replacement, or as his understudy, and it hasn't really worked out like that. Everyone else, I think we needed that midfield, we needed that Paqueta role, we needed a striker, we needed a good centre back. The Areola deal would have happened anyway. So the race is, I think it's maybe that Tilo Kehrer is probably one extra, but actually he's helped us a lot this year. We know what a great sign, what a great person he is internally. Centre back, right back, left back, striker. For me, I'd go centre back first, centre midfield 2, then right back. I think we're okay with Soufal this year. It's not great, but we're okay. Left back, I think we're okay. But if as the Cresswell goes, bring him in. Striker, left side midfield. I think that we definitely Ben Rama is not a left winger. Carlos comes in. He sort of does help that position out, I think. What we got? They are fighting because Dex had a bummer of a game. Thanks for another great. My pleasure. Day 1. Bournemouth need a CDM. Totally just need a CDM. Definitely. That's it. 4 nails, 4 candles. Freddie's a taker, but he's got time to grow, and you can see that he will grow into the role in time. I totally agree. Moyes is stopping youth progress, and Bummer may be the only one to get any real game time. Won't see the others after pre-season. We won't, Irish Tommy. And part of the reason is, I think, because we've got so many, and it's not dead wood, but we've got so many okay players ahead of them. If and so we've got, so you talk about 4 now. It's like 4 now. It's talk about Downs. They're ahead of Freddie Potts on the side. So Freddie's not going to get game time. And it's not a case of Moyes not giving them youth. It's because at the moment the squad is a bit heavy in Connor Coventry as well. These guys will get more game time ahead of Freddie Potts because of their experience. So if one goes, one gets used or exchanged, then automatically he gets moved up a little bit. Same as Obama. Obama would at the moment wasn't beforehand. When Antonio was fit, when Skamaka was fit, when Ings was fit, he was fourth choice. He was fourth choice. We don't agree he's fourth choice, but he was. Now the fact is Antonio has been at the Gold Cup, so automatically Obama's been moved up at the spot. Skamaka's come out from injury; he's been moved up a spot. So naturally, it was him and Ings up front. Just the way it works. Who scattered players like Paqueta, Scam, and Agard? That would have been Rob Newham. We always had a Potts at West Ham, so it did. Why is it being suggested that he who shouldn't be named was a hindrance? Well, it has been suggested. It has been suggested that actually, his involvement in the squad, I think maybe people putting 2 and 2 together and trying to come up with a story. For me, I can understand why, but at the end of the day, it would have been well documented internally within the side that he was probably leaving in the summer, and he was still captain and was still the poster boy and was in front and one more year, doing all that. That could have some resentment. Someone like a Flynn, for example, wasn't getting in the side because, and even the first part of the season, he wasn't playing very well. He was still getting stuck. He was the captain. So maybe the shackles might be of someone like a Souček, for example. Part of the reason why we played shit the first half of the year was Declan Rice is wanting to go forward more, and Souček had to hang back a little bit. And it didn't work. And it was only when it sort of that balance got readjusted that we started to play well again. I think it's just a theory. Sign Mbappe for 59 million and have done with it, indeed. Mbappe, rather. Is Connor Coventry better than Downs and Souček? Nope. We'll end up with midfielder Souček or Coventry or Souček and Downs. Is right. I think unless we sign someone soon, it will be Souček and Downs will be the two midfielders for the Bournemouth game. I'd have a Narnath Everton FFP with FP. How Everton signing players? Well, that's why they're trying to sell other players. That's why I'm trying to sell Demarai Gray, and I think they'll end up Wills sending an on soon. Disagree, Russ, with Zoom, always a problem, and Kira covering two positions. We are asking for trouble, not buying a defender. No, I don't say we need we do need a defender. As I said, I think if Harwood-Bellis comes in, I think he does answer that problem. Zuma, you are right. I mean, I have said we do need a centre back because actually we do have a situation where Zuma gets 25-30 games if you're lucky. We do have cover there. We've got Tilo Kira, we've got Ben Johnson, we do at the moment have Aaron Cresswell who'll be leaving. We do have Aged, we do have Oggy, we do have Luizao, we do have Casey, we do have some good players there. I think we do need a first teamer. That's why when people turn their nose up to Harry Maguire, I thought actually if we're playing a back three, that ain't a bad shout because he gives us an option there. I don't think it's as much a priority as the midfielder, but we spent the last 2 seasons going into the new season with 4 centre backs, and halfway through we'll end up with 1. So actually, we need 5 centre backs really. And the fact is, we've seen a few minutes for Luizao. Maybe he's going to be on the peripherals, maybe for the cup competitions. I don't know what players will be at the Africa Cup of Nations. So that'll be Aged. It'll be Aged, potentially Cornet, and potentially Benrahma. So Borges would cover the Benrahma side. Cornet, he's a sub anyway, really. So Mbama moves up one. And it's Oggy comes in for Aged for that month. Playing left side of the back too, potentially. Or we bring in, or someone like Harwood-Bellis comes in, people are pissed that he shouldn't have been went to Arsenal, so blame Danny's support is nothing but to cope, but a coping system. It'll be a big miss, massive miss. The amount of times, how many times have we, we're playing poorly, and the former captain would pull up his and go on a run, or he had that way to galvanise, and we've lost that. So it's more on the shoulders of someone like Paqueta now, in terms of entertaining the crowd, being the proud, being the instigator of new, just getting the people up and running. When Bournemouth wallop us in the first game, was spoilt by West Ham giving his own way. He won't get a special treatment. Well, we know it already. JWP should be our preference to fill in the gap. Then a replacement for Cresswell. I hope the young lad would have a chance for this position. Well, he wouldn't. No, because the young lad from City won't. Because young lad from City will be a left wing. But I think we get something like Truffet in from Rennes, and I think that'd be good. Are we going to play 2 up front as we've seen in the friendlies? We'll see. It'll be interesting to see when we see everyone back. Now everyone's back, what happens in terms of us? Maybe the fact that we playing 2 up front was a function of having half the squad not there for some of the friendlies, but we'll see what happens. Could we move Kira into CDM? Could do. I'm not sure about that. He should have been named, carried us many occasions and wasn't paid handsomely compared to other players of his standard, but he could have been. If he signed the contract, he'd have been on 250 grand a week, wouldn't he? I think young Potts could also be given more chances to play in the first team if there's a pathway for him. That's the thing. Can Souček play centre back? He can do. When are we getting in for Timmy Mallet? Timmy Mallet's not a West Ham fan, so I won't. No news on McTominay. Why are we not bidding for Alex Scott? No idea. Who is your choice for captain? My choice would be Aged, but I think it's going to be Souček. in all honesty. Suited the most awkward player of the ball since Paolo Wanchop. God bless him. The transfer deadlock committee needs to be sorted out. The whole inner fighting is ridiculous and it's hindering the club. Not to mention the kudos of a regular England player carried for us. Indeed. How many more friendlies before we start? Is it 2? Is it Ren and Bayer Leverkusen? I think it's 2 left. So that's good. What is going on with this club? No one signing us is another relegation, isn't it? No. Well, that will be later on. I'm going to say no, but in about 3 months' time, people say, "Oh, I thought you said it wasn't going to be relegation." I don't think it is. I generally don't think it is. I think Wolves are in a lot of trouble this season. I thought we sold Coventry. Did something fall through? No, we never sold him. Went on loan last year and offered him a new contract before he left. So no. The development squad play tomorrow night against Ebbsfleet. Well, there we go. No, it'll be no first teamers in that one. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for your time. As always, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Maybe hit the join button down there and become one of the old West Ham Network Barmy member army. It's a couple of quid a month, and you automatically get entered into the prize draws to win signed footballs, shirts, programs, notebooks, all that type of stuff. We do a monthly draw. And so, yeah, particularly at the moment, because obviously a lot of stuff we're sort of not raffling off, but, for the prize draw is from the European Conference League winners. So there we go. And keep an eye on Hammer's headlines later on. Loads of stuff as per usual. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, my friends. Much love. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheerio.